American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears and the face on your screen. And this is American football in Finland. All right, guys, today I'm joined with one of my co hosts, Chris Green. Chris, what's going on, man?
How's it going, Purvis? Good to be back. Good to see you again. Let's do this.
We're back. Let's do it. The podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast, and you can visually see us here on YouTube now. Wherever you listen or watch, be sure to like us, all that good stuff. Anyone who listens, but you don't hit the follow or like button, we know that you're a hater, but that's cool because now on to the show. All right, it's first down where we talk about what's going on with us. Chris, what's going on with you lately?
I mean, the T-shirt says it all. The three-peat, baby. So the university team that I played at and that I now coach at, we won the championship game this past week. We won it 52-0. Just amazing atmosphere, great game. We just absolutely ran the season. Not only did we win the final 52-0, but we scored 50 points on at least every single opponent, and we conceded 0 points all season. 0 points. And we didn't punt once.
How many games?
How many games? So 8-game regular season, then quarter, semi, then final. Wow. So 11 games in total.
No points in 11 games.
Zero points conceded.
Where you at?
Crazy.
Now, when I say that, it is impressive, but it also does make playing and shit. And I'm not want to take nothing away from 3P, but you put up 50 burgers every week and nobody scores. I mean, I don't want to say it's the Jadrian Clark effect, but you tell me what it is. How could y'all league?
Hey, we're just good at recruiting, man. We recruit well. Head coach down there recruits well. We just get good guys in. Like, what can I say? We do a good job recruiting.
Smart. Well, for me, obviously, y'all guys probably know that we were like before the season, different weeks and stuff. But this week, my daughter's birthday is coming up. She just turned 5 during the week. She has her annual like 2 or 3 birthday parties. Like we'll have a little birthday party at home, and her family members come over, and then I think she's going to like watch a basketball game, and then after the basketball game, the other come over, so she have 2 like at home parties, and then on Sunday we're going to a trampoline park, which is crazy because all a trampoline park is a whole bunch of dirt and smelly feet jumping up and down for about 2 hours, and that's what we're gonna do for 2 hours because she's turning 5 years old, and that's what you do with kids. So I need someone to spray me down with disinfectant spray this weekend. But other than that, so I guess we can start talking football next. Okay, so the 2024 Maple League season looks wide open. Lots of personnel changes, a lot of people bringing in, sending out, players going here, players going there. Again, I saw preseason rankings because it's just so wide open. But this week, let's talk about last year's runner-up set in the 2023 Maple Bowl. We're going to talk about the Seinäjoki Crocodiles. And talking about the Crocodiles, before we even get, let's just look back on 2023 real quick and remember how good they were for the entire. They won. I think that they didn't lose anything during the season, did they? If I'm
Apart
not
from
mistaken.
that, the first game when they got done on a technicality with the Eric Irvin signing.
Yeah. They physically went undefeated throughout the season, and then lost. I guess that was their 2007 Patriot season, right? Is that it? Is?
Yeah, don't
I think
remind me. Yeah,
2007.
when we lost to the Giants, yeah, don't remind me.
That's actually in my fantasy football league. We have an award for whoever has like the best. It's called the 2007 New England Patriots record because it don't mean nothing, and that's what they did last year. Let's talk about biggest changes for the Crocodiles, Chris. What is one thing that you think really is a huge change for them going into the season?
I think the biggest one, I guess, is the different quarterback they're going to have this year. So they're not got the same quarterback returning. So, they've had the same guy for a couple of years now, and it's not really got them past that hump of winning the championship. But yeah, I mean, that'll be a big change for them, having a new signal caller. Like, what type of identity of their offense? Are they still going to run it through Christian Powell? Are they going to put it more in the hands of this new quarterback that they've got? It'll be interesting to see how they go about this season and what their kind of game plan is early doors. And if they change it, is it organic game by game? Or is it still, we're going to ride Christian Powell and work the play action off of that?
You know, before I say what I think my biggest change is, I'm gonna speak on that a little bit so we actually have some time moving queue here to time us out. But I'm I'm actually not that concerned about them changing quarterbacks more than anything. We've seen them be somewhat successful. The Cutler back there, quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think the quarterback is that huge of a deal for them, but I do think that bringing in something in my opinion, it might reinvigorate their like passing attack. Because last year there were times where we just really felt like utilized the quarterback position as much as they could. I feel like they forced it sometimes to make it seem like they were balanced, but they didn't really like use it. And that's gonna bring me my biggest change would be the head coach change. And again, similar to what they did last year, the new head coach is coming in, Krangstall. I think if I'm saying his name right. And again, they have like three Christians on their team: head coach, quarterback, running back, all named Christian. But bringing in the new head coach, he'll be the offensive coordinator as well, and that's something that we all talked about in the was the offensive play calling in that game, and only giving Christian Powell the ball. Was it 11 times or
I
nine
think it's about
times?
10 or 11, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
It wasn't a lot.
less
It
than
wasn't
10.
enough. It wasn't enough.
Yeah,
Let's
it
just say
wasn't
that.
enough. So again, this OC, this well not OC, but HC head coach, how he comes in and decides how he utilizes Christian affect what they do. Because we've seen it over years. There's times where we're like, just feed the man the ball, and then the coach don't feed him the ball. And then there's times where it's like, I don't think we've ever seen him get the ball a lot and then after the game being like, oh no, they shouldn't have gave him the ball this much. But most coaches do be worn down by the end of the season. I mean, he's season 7, and I still would say I don't care if he can do 15 carries, 5 receptions every game, and be healthy all season because he's that type of athlete. So I don't understand why you wouldn't. And if you need to have a 30, do it. Give him 30. Next week, give him 10. I mean, if that's what you have to do. But I'm interested to see how the new that, managing Christian Powell and trying to make sure that they utilize those other offensive weapons because they do have other weapons on the offense are definitely worth noting that offensively those are something that you can rely on, that you can get them the ball and they have a decent receiving core. So bring and the one that they have signed right now, at this moment in time, he's signed, but I never really trust these early sometimes. Like sometimes I feel like they might not actually, show up. We've seen that happen before too. But if this quarterback actually does come more of a running type quarterback as well, so that could help Christian Powell not have to run as much because they could utilize him or maybe do the art. I'm not sure, but either way, I do think that's a big change for them. Anything else you think big change for Seinajoki this season?
I don't know. Is is this the first year that Powell's going to be a non-US player, or was that last year? I can't remember.
I think last year. I think last year. And not that I don't think it matters too much for them because they have good. I mean, they're one of the teams that's more likely to bring in an American runner. I mean, an American lineman than anybody
Yeah.
else. But I can see them utilizing their Americans mostly on the defensive side of the ball.
Calling all youth football players. Are you ready to shine this midsummer? Join us at the AFF Nordic Challenge, June 18th through 21st in Helsinki. Showcase your skills to USA college coaches, train with some of the top coaches in Europe, and compete in one-on-ones. Get insider tips at exclusive recruiting sessions and seize international opportunities. You can even win big with camp-sponsored prizes. Space is limited, so register now. All right, I'm here with Christian WRANGSTÅL, head coach of the Seinäjoki Crocodiles. Christian, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you, man. Nice to be here.
That's awesome, man. We're going to get right into it. First thing I want to ask was, you're new to Seinäjoki Crocodiles and Maple League this year. So what was kind of the motivation or the reasoning that you decided to join the Crocodiles team this season? Like, what was kind of going through your mind when you talked to the management and things about becoming a new head coach?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I've been doing football for over 30 years. And I've been around in Europe, in Spain and Norway, here in Sweden. So when this opportunity came up and start talking to Timo, I was just, to be honest, very flattered and honored to get the question. And if you want to do football in Europe, I think both Finland and the Crocodiles in Seinajoki are a great place to be. So I'm super excited and also very, what do you say, like flattered to get this opportunity. So I will try to make the best of it.
That's awesome, man. So moving on, new season, new team, a lot of changing parts. But for you personally, coming into this new situation with the Crocodiles, obviously you've been in touch with the team and management and a few of the players probably. What exactly do you want to kind of get across this season? You know, like what is kind of your philosophy or things that you want to make sure that you bring an impact on the team?
That's maybe the toughest question to answer, and also my toughest job, because I'm still learning. I maybe overestimated the similarities between Sweden and Finland. So when I talk with people, I understand there's some differences in culture and the way things are done. But I think, getting back to your question there, my strength is based with the X's and O's, I think. And also I've been doing this for a long time, so I also think that I have a good understanding of how you're maximizing your roster. You know, what can you do if you have 5 hours together with a team? So how will you spend those 5 hours in the most effective way? So, but I'm hoping to bring, the strategic part and the X's and O's part, since I'm also the offensive coordinator, into the team, and I'm not saying that. I mean, they've been doing that good previous years, of course, but I spoke to Timo. They also said that they wanted to take that to the next level or step. So they've been riding the great running back there a lot. So hopefully I will come in and do some other things off of that. So that's the plan.
Okay, that's awesome, man. Because I mean, I've been covering them for a few years now. Actually, since Christian Powell's been on the team, I've been covering them like intensively. And one thing that we have learned from the Crocodiles is that even though he's kind of like a bell cow type running back, they've had a couple different offenses. They've had a couple different styles, and he's been able to contribute no matter what you do. So that's pretty cool that you're going to be able to come in there and have someone like him that you can, rely on, but necessarily he can fit into whatever system you implement as well. So that's pretty cool to have fresh blood in Seinajoki. My next question would be going into the season. I don't know how much you've like looked into, maybe last season or looking at the type of teams that the Crocodiles have been playing, but going into the season, what are a few things that you think that your team has to do so that they can be successful? What are some things that pretty much every week you're going to have to do this to, win a football game? What are a couple of those things?
Well, I think looking at a lot of film from last year, I think that you need to be maybe a little more diverse, or how do you say that, when you being able to change week from to week, not being too predictable, I would say. And also, it's going to be a long season, right? It's going to be 12 games at least, and then the playoffs. So I also need to make sure that we use everybody on the roster in a good way. For example, going back to Christian there, which is a great player, and I think, you also need him fresh in August, September. So that's the one thing I think we need to be able to get the young guys going and get everybody to contribute their way. If it's a one drive, or if it's, whatever you can do to make everybody fresh at the end, it's going to be one thing that I'm going to focus on.
That's pretty cool. That actually leads to my next question. Looking at the roster from the Crocodiles, I know you haven't had the chance to be there consistently with the guys yet at the time of this interview, but obviously who's on the team, what new signings you had, what guys you're bringing back, etc. Who are a couple guys you kind of expect to contribute heavily this season to you guys' success?
I was kind of hoping you would not ask that question, because I have basically still learning to pronounce the names and everything. And I tried to look at the film from last year and putting the names together, and from the camps we had this year. So, but there are a few really, really good players. As you said, you've been following them also. So I don't have a perfect overall vision of all the guys and what they can do. So that's also one thing that I will really get into once I get there in a week or two. But
yeah, no worries.
I also coached the Norwegian U17 national team, so I saw a lot of those guys the last 3 years when you played the Nordic Championships. So and I know the Crocodiles have some really young, talented guys that come through there. So it seems that they have a good, also good junior program, and a lot of young guys coming up.
I would say one of the best junior programs in recent history. I know some people from the Roosters and Royals are gonna say that's not true, but a lot of the roster that the Crocodiles have now, where there's kids between the ages of 19 and 23, they all play juniors for the Crocodiles, and they ran through the juniors for U15, U17, U19, and then they started playing on the men's. So, you definitely have a really good young, talented group there, and we're excited to see some of them. We had a couple of breakout guys last year from Crocodiles that kind of jumped onto the scene and started playing on the men's national team as well. One of my favorites, I'm just going to throw this out there, even though it's your interview, is Atu Tuoko. I think is how you say his name, the safety. That's my guy. I'm excited to see him play again this year. But moving on, last thing I'm going to ask you, Coach, and I'm going to let you get out of here. Like I said, not going to be long. Going into this last season, Maple League season, rules changed a little bit. There's going to be more imports allowed to play this year. A lot of teams have different players, different coaches, different personnel coming in, a lot of different storylines. But for you, coming into a different situation, what is something you're excited about seeing in the Maple League this season? What aspect of the league is really exciting for you?
Well, I think it's been very competitive league. It seems like everybody can beat everybody, basically, and that's also proof of that being a good quality league. And we've been doing a lot of work with the recruiting. As you know, that takes a lot of time, and really want to compliment all the guys in the Crocodiles I think we have a great group of guys coming in now, but we also scouted some guys that went to other teams. So we also we lost some talent because you can only have 5, but that's a lot. So I mean, I think it's going to be exciting to see a lot of quality players, U.S. imports and also other European imports. I mean, some went to the ELF, but I mean, I think we got some pretty good ones coming to Finland also this year. So that's going to, what I think, also raise the level of play in Finland. And again, it's going to be, I mean, 12 regular season games. So that's going to also show who's going to have the best imports. And of course, injuries is going to play into that. So probably, I mean, if you lose a key guy, you might, dip and then maybe have to bring in somebody else or whatever. But it seems like also the other teams also got some great talent. So that's going to be exciting. And I think it's just more fun and more exciting to play teams that have great talent.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Coach WRANGSTÅL, thank you for the interview. Good luck to you and the Crocodiles this season, man. And we'll be watching you here on the AFF podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's talk about obstacles to overcome for the Crocodiles. What is something you think that they're going to have to overcome this season to be successful, Chris?
I guess it's getting past that stigma of when are the Crocs going to win a championship. I guess it's that monkey off their back. Like last season was probably their best opportunity in a long time to win a championship. They've been to the ship countless times, but just always failing short. It seems to be at that last hurdle. And I feel like that's a real big obstacle to get over that. And with, like you say, with a new head coach, new quarterback, maybe this is their year. Maybe this is the time. And like you say, it is kind of wide open this season. We don't really know what to expect from certain teams. Kuopio have got a new head coach. The Wolverines had a rebuilding season last year. We never know what UNC are going to do every year. I mean, who knows who they're going to bring in? They bring in God knows how many imports. And you don't know what the Roosters are always going to be the Roosters. So the Royals are going to be competitive. They've got Alpha still there. They've got good imports. They've got a good program set up there. So it is wide open. But I feel like the Crocodiles, again, they need to ride this wave while they can because they're not going to have Christian Powell forever. And we know how much of a game breaker
you never know with that guy.
Well, you don't know. I mean, he still seems as healthy as ever. He's still playing his best football ever, really. He's throwing it as well. Not only just running it, he's throwing it like he's doing everything for that organization, like he has done for the past 6-7 years. So, but we don't know how long he's got left on his ticking clock of how many years he's got left to play. So, if they want to try and get him a ship as well as that organization, I think he deserves it because he's been there, he's done that, he's got to multiple finals, but they just haven't got over that hump. So I guess the biggest obstacle is just trying to obviously get to the ship first, but then it's if they do get there, that's the biggest hump is getting over that final and becoming victorious at the end because it seems to keep eluding them. Every time they get there, they just come up with an L.
Yeah, I think I agree with you 100%. I mean, I'm gonna phrase it slightly different. One obstacle, themselves.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing or who we think should be championship game. The Crocodiles have one goal, and that's to win the Maple Bowl. And anything that they do that they don't win it, you really only can blame them. Because last year we saw like they had the perfect, not the perfect, but they had the recipe and the team to win it, and then they weren't able to finish the deal. That last game, going into the new quarterback, even with the new head coach, you still feel like, hey, this team can win it all. Will they? It really is up to them. Change in the league, and a lot of other teams have this and that, and they can say, well, we have something to say about it. No, you don't. NCP, we trust. We've seen it for 6 years now. As long as they have that guy, they have a chance. As long as they have their young, solid defensive players, they have offensive, they have skilled players. Every position on the field, we can easily name one or two Seinäjoki Crocodile players as being Finland. And that's arguably, I mean, it's an arguable offense, obviously, but at every position, we can name somebody, and you'll be like, well, I can 1, 2, or 3 at that position, and that means you have the talent, and that means you have the skill level. And then coaching wise, they have a great coaching staff. Charlie Ove doing the defense last year, they had
They
their
were good.
faults last year, but they were good. Like you said, like they were really what they do. And that goes back to them as a team is what when they weren't able to stop other teams, it was because they didn't do what they were necessarily 100% on the other team, just forcing them their will upon them. It's a defense that knows what they want to do, and if they don't do that, then they won't be successful. Offensive side, same thing. If you don't do the right plays, you don't do what your offense is supposed to do, you won't be successful. So for me, the biggest change, I mean, not biggest change, well, the Crocodiles are gonna have to overcome is themselves. Do you? I guess we can't really say the Bill Belichick job anymore, but I would say, do you, boo? Do you? And you'll be fine.
Hey there, fans of American football in Finland. Want to show some love and support to your favorite podcast? For just €3, you can buy us a cup of coffee and help keep our podcast running strong. But why stop at one cup? Why not support each host with a cup? Visit buymeacoffee.com and show your support today. Cheers to keeping the conversation going.
All right, guys. I'm with the man, the myth, the legend, NCP We Trust, Christian Powell. Welcome to the podcast.
Much love. Appreciate it, man. What's up?
You know me, always doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I ain't gonna tell everybody on the podcast, but it's good to have you back on, man. We haven't really talked in a long time, and even now we're trying to fix our schedules together. So we're gonna jump into it, straight interview style. First question I got for you is, what is the motivation to return to the Crocodiles for another season? What's your
Man,
motivation? I need to know.
it's been a long time, right? I definitely couldn't not have seen this coming from year one to year seven now, but it's just a lot of motivating factors. One, just seeing the growth of this team as a player and really seeing where we've come from. And it's just good to be a part of the organization and, just watching a lot of these guys grow and develop. And then really off the field is being involved with the other guys too, because I also coach the youth team. So again, I've been with those guys since they were U13, which are they're now U15, so that's a big factor of just coming back and coaching with those guys, and then of course just life itself. Now I'm no longer just out here by myself, but I have a family now, so we've all moved in, we've gotten settled, and we have a spot out here. So it's just when you combine all those together, like that brings me back to playing again another year.
All right. So getting a little bit into the Crocodiles, I know you guys have had a few camps so far when we're recording this, but coming into this season, you know, we're trying to forget last year. I mean, we really are. We're trying to forget it, but we have to talk about it a little bit. Didn't go exactly how you want to. Some people call it a curse of the Seinajoki. I'm not gonna say who. Okay, Spencer Cutler said it. He said there's a curse. I threw him under the bus. Spencer knows it is what it is. He said it was a
I think
curse.
I
But
think we've all I've heard that word before too, so they never know.
but just going into this season, you guys you have a solid core. Um, Crocodiles, I mean, as long as you have CP, you have a chance to win. We always know that. But going into this season, what do you think? What type of things do you think that you guys are doing to improve upon what you did last year? I mean, I felt like last year you guys played at a very high level for most of the season, but going into this year, you obviously have to do something more or something different. What would you think that is going into this season?
I think it just coming into the season, it just really comes down to enjoying the game of football and just really going out there and just playing, first of all, because last year, we learned as the season progressed and went on, we learned what we can do, but eventually, like, it was just so much you put a lot when that happens, you can put a lot of pressure on yourself. So I think you learn to really just enjoy the game itself and just play it, and then obviously just building off of our strengths. With core guys coming back, we want to do what's best suits them, what best suits the core guys, along with everybody coming in and just really build on that. So like I always like to say, build on the things that work and just kind of step away from the things that don't work so well.
All right. So talking about building on things that work so well, every week you guys are going to be in a dogfight to get wins. It's not easy to win in the Maple League. That's something that a lot of people take for granted. You play 12 games, but winning week after week is difficult, and then getting enough to get in the playoffs is always a challenge. What is something? What are a few things actually that you think that you guys are going to have to kind of reiterate to your team every week? Like, we have to get this done to make sure we win this week. Like, what are some of those like staples of what it takes to be successful in the Maple League?
Nothing more, nothing less than just going out there and playing your game. You know what you're capable of doing. You set the expectations from the beginning, and you just follow that. Obviously you want to grow, you want to improve as a player, we want to improve as a team, but week after week, you understand that every team in this league is, everybody's good. They're going to come out, they're going to compete. Everybody has good players across this league, so you got to understand that and know that, hey, people are coming in to hit us in our mouth. So we just got to fight back and just play our game. Nothing more, nothing less than going out, playing our game, and doing what we're capable of doing.
I love that. I love that. So now I want to speak a little bit about the roster. You guys have a little bit of changeover. There's a couple new parts coming, couple players left, but not a huge amount. Like we said before, you have a solid core. But for some of the people who don't know, enough about the Crocodiles team and the personnel, who are some of the players that you think are going to kind of stand out for you guys this year? Some guys who might, step up in places where last year maybe we hadn't have heard of them.
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm huge advocates for the Circular brothers. I've been seeing them year after year grow and just develop. So I think they're, just going to do that, continue to grow. And then, we have some other core guys coming in, like Casper. He's a good player. Just building off of that at receiver. What I mean, we have Yanko and just a lot of other guys. I can go on. It's a lot of people to name, but I think that receiving core they've really been working and really having those foundational guys in there, and then just adding some key players to that will really help them grow and then develop. And then, on the defensive side of the ball, we have some guys coming in, young guys stepping up at that. I really am looking forward to seeing them play at the defensive back position across the board at safety and that corner. Young MA, like just again, a lot of guys to name, but I think those will be some areas where guys will really have a chance to come in and just have a chance to show themselves. And I've seen these guys practice this off season, and they're hungry, and they want the opportunity to go out and shine. And I just really see the competitiveness in their eyes. So I think the skill positions on both sides of the ball, and then obviously we have some good interior guys, but just really look forward to those young guys stepping up.
What I want to see is the celebrations from the receivers. I expect them to step
Yeah,
it up this year. I want to see some
yeah.
great celebrations, especially from the Sarkler brothers, and even you see. I want to see some great end zone celebrations this year, man. I think that'd be great.
I'm gonna work on a backflip. I'm gonna try and do one of those.
What are you, like, 225 pounds?
Yeah, man. I've seen some big dudes do
If
some backflips. I'm gonna do a
if you
cartwheel on the
if you
back.
if you get all that body into a backflip, believe me, we will be amazed. That will be crazy. That will be bananas. Whole stadium goes crazy if you do a backflip. I would love to see it. I'm excited to see it now. And every
Hey,
week you
nah.
don't do it, we're gonna bring it up on the pod that you're
Hey,
supposed to.
it's all jokes, but I know everybody gonna hold me to that now, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's on record now.
Nah,
CP gonna do a
man.
backflip. I'm excited. I'm just thinking about it because I'm thinking like you're like the Saquon Barkley, like doing a backflip. That is impressive. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you get out of here, man. I got one more question, then I'm gonna let you go about your business.
Yeah.
This season, it's just like any other season in the Maple League. Things are different. People are changing personnel. There's new players, new coaches. The teams are never really the same,
Right.
but that's every year. So for you going into this, year 7, what are you really excited about in the Maple League this year? Excuse-
Um,
Sorry, excuse me. Is there something like that stands out to you this season, different than years before that you're really looking forward to?
I really think it's gonna be a competitive year. Like I think it'll be just a level playing field, and I think as a player, that's just exciting to, be a part of. Because, like I said earlier, week after week, guys are going to come in and compete and, just really go out there and show themselves. So I think across the board, everybody really feels like they have that chance to make plays and just make great things happen. So I'm just, excited for I think just the competitiveness of this league this year. And I think as a player and also as a spectator, fans enjoy that. Just hearing the targets for a lot of people really enjoy that. Like just when it's a level playing field, and you just never know what's going to happen each game. So I think that's really exciting, something to look forward to this year. Just because it's a lot of turnover, a lot of switches, core guys coming back, new people coming in. So hey, let's just let's see how let's go out play and see how it shakes out.
That's great, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the pod. CP, good luck to you and the Crocodiles this season in the Maple League. Hope to see you, in that last weekend. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Man, we're trying to get there, man. But at the end of the day, let's just go out and have fun with it. That's the goal right there. Let's play in that last game and enjoy this because I'm at the point where you never know when, I'm playing for so long, you never know when the last one is.
Yeah, you could pull an Aaron Donald, do a solid 10, man.
Yeah,
Do a
right.
solid 10 and walk
Yeah,
off.
exactly.
Solid
Yeah.
10.
I said five. I said about five before. Let's go five more.
Yeah, yeah. Why not? Why not? But hey,
Why
man,
not?
appreciate you coming on, and we'll see you
Yeah.
next time.
No, I appreciate it, man. Most definitely.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about success, which I really feel like it's the same thing as obstacles to overcome, if I'm not wrong. But Chris, tell me something if there's.
I think we've pretty much covered it. Like you say, it's all the same. Success are what we've said last year. In CP, we trust. Give that man the ball.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't matter who they've got. I think if they've got that running quarterback, that's going to obviously complement CP as well. It's not. He's going to help share the load. He's also going to work the play action. You could work some option stuff as well in there if the cut with the quarterback that he's got. And I think, yeah, I mean the biggest key to success we know is give CP the ball. Give CP the ball. And if they've got a strong string and they're just as good as they were last year, they're good enough to get to that championship game again. Because their front seven was decent. It was real strong last year, and their defensive as well. Eric Irvin, although he's been signed with another team, but now he is back with the Crocodiles. He's back there, got X amount of it, and I don't know the number off the top of my head, but they're a good secondary and they're a good front seven. And with that combined with CP, they are a good contender. They're going to be a playoff team. Like they're going to be a top 4 team. But it's just, yeah, I guess the key to success really is just make sure CP gets enough touches on the season. They've got to keep him healthy.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to say something different, other than give the ball to CP. Keys to success for the Crocs would be. I'm really trying to pull something out of my hat here. So yeah, I think be a little more consistent on defense. Like you said it right first, Chris, that their front seven is dominant last year. I'm not sure if it's going to be the exact same this year. I forget what players they've signed. I don't know if they signed the same players, but they usually. And in my opinion, now that Kovumaki's not going to be there at linebacker, and even with Atu Toko, and I can't remember. Oh, they had the import corner last year. They were susceptible to some down on the defensive side because even Eric Irvin, as much as we applaud his play and stuff, he's a risk taker out there. Big risk, big reward. I mean, normally he's a big reward guy, but it does leave room for error. And we saw that in a championship game where there's 15-year-old receiver had 3 touchdowns. against their defense. That can't happen. And they have to shore up that back end of the defense. I'm not that concerned about the front seven. I feel like they always have talent there, even if, even their defensive line, they're rotating like six guys on a regular
Yeah.
basis. Like they had those three guys that we always talked about, but there was two other guys, one guy who started showing late. I can't remember their names. I'm sorry for not being able to stay on the podcast, but they had depth. So that wasn't an issue. And it assumed that they're still going to have depth up front, but that back end, you had Toivola on one side at corner. Atu Toko, I think he played, and then Eric, I think was, high risk, high reward, and then the import corner really, he was one of the best in the league. That doesn't give him an overall good grade against the receivers that he was going against, if that makes any sense. We said it last year, most of the receivers were better cornerbacks in the league last year. So it was like an unfair thing. Like you could be the best corner, you still was getting burnt more often than not. And that's the case that we're looking at with one of their best corners, their number 2 corner. He still was I think we voted him to make all Finland as the number 2 corner. But in those 2 corner against other teams' number 2 receiver, it was not a matchup he wanted. That's another reason why Erla had so much success, because he was going against the Crocodiles, which was their import.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, we're talking last year a lot, but going into this year, for them to be successful, they have to shore that up on. So that in a championship situation like that, you really just can't have those holes. It was a matchup situation. You can't have them exploit. And if you look at the game that they played against the Butchers in the regular season before that, and the touchdown that wasn't a touchdown, that's the situation it was. It was against their defensive backs. So that's one thing I think they have to do to be successful, is shore up that back end with players to make sure that those type of plays don't change the trajectory of their season. Because if they're on the same trajectory as they were last year, hold it down on when teams need to score, keep them from scoring. Keep them from being able to score when they need to score. Bullets that Chris' team has, and keep teams to 0 if you can all season.
Yeah, right. If you want to keep teams to 0, they sign a load of Americans, but unfortunately in the Maple League there's restrictions, whereas there isn't in the University League. You can have as many Americans as you want. So.
Oh yeah, the Crocs can sign more Americans than most people. Having CP back there, he don't count. So
yeah,
make it work. Makes sense. Just make the math. Cut away. All right, that's it for this episode of American Football in Finland. Before we get out of here, Chris.
I mean, we've dealt with the 2 best teams from last year now, with the Bucks, and we've got some interesting teams to talk about coming up. I said it earlier. You never know what to expect from UNC. They always have imports from afar and everywhere and all over the field. It seems like they're always made up of a lot of imports. Their core is, rather than finished players, there's a lot of imports. So it'd be interesting to talk about them. It's going to be about the Roosters this year. They look like they're going to be a lot stronger than they have been last year, so that'll be interesting as well. And the Wolverines as well, I think in a rebuilding year, see what they can bring to the party this year. Probably going to spend a bit more money this season. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about the other teams as well. And yeah, we're about ready for the season. Let's just hey, let's start tomorrow.
Yeah. I still, just thinking back about this episode, I still feel like, man, I don't know Christian Powell enough, because that's pretty much what we talk about with this team. Not to say that we don't watch the Crocodiles, our selection choices. We appreciate all the players, but when you have, a generational talent, we can't do anything but gush on them and talk about them. So I'm excited running it back, and I do believe that the Crocodiles organization is trying, and it's really good to see a team support more than anything an import like that. Someone who's not from this country, and kind of embrace him as one I'm really excited to see how they're going to try to go about that this season. So we wish the Crocodiles good luck this season. We'll be watching every week, right? Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, and share our content on all social media channels at American Football in Finland. Never forget TI. Oh, that did it right? That was it.
You did TNI.
I did TI. Hold up, should I? That's what we're going with. Okay, we gone.
We go.
We can't do it without Q, I guess. I don't know.